More now on yesterday's deadly rampage at a Washington, D.C. naval facility that left 13 dead, including the shooter, who investigators now say acted alone. His actions are raising questions about government contract workers and the security clearances that give so many of them access to military or other sensitive bases. Hampton Pearson has more now on what's being done about it.
As civilian and military employees return to work at the Navy Yard today, the White House says it will review standards for government contractors after the fatal shooting of 12 people by a contract worker with a security clearance to be there.
DNI is currently undertaking a review of security clearance policy for certain contractors. And I can tell you that at the President's direction, OMB is examining standards for contractors and employees across federal agencies.
More than 4.9 million people just in Defense and Homeland Security have those clearances, according to the latest figures from the Director of National Intelligence. So, how did the deceased gunman, 34-year-old Aaron Alexis, who had 2 gun-related brushes with the law in Texas and Seattle, as well as mental health issues, get a security clearance that gave him access to a military facility in the heart of the nation's capital? It turns out the secret clearance for a civilian IT contractor is at the low end of the security bar. And security experts say, given the sheer volume of background checks, Alexis' profile did not set off any alarms.
It's not that difficult to get a security clearance if you do not have major red flags in your background. If you have anger management issues but you have not sought treatment, if you have an arrest record that does not trigger any type of indications of violence, if there's nothing else in there, then there's no reason to deny a person a security clearance from a safety perspective.
Even with a security card, how did Alexis get a shotgun into the building? A just-released Defense Department Inspector General's report says efforts to reduce costs resulted in 52 convicted felons gaining unauthorized access at various naval facilities due to flaws in a widely used access control system. A former national security official says in the end, there is no substitute for hands-on inspections.
I think really it comes down to increasing the random inspections and not trusting anybody 100%. Understanding that anybody at any time could, in theory, be a viable threat.
Whether it's the government or private employers, security experts say possible solutions include periodic background checks, perhaps even using social media, and having an emergency plan for a worst-case scenario, a mass shooting event in the workplace. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Hampton Pearson in Washington.